Whatever the intended method is, I'll do the reverse. Not because I'm a brat, but because I like chaos. I'm gonna say this is verging on mathematics, and if there's one thing I'm allergic to, it's mathematics. They want to make you believe that this isn't an intended feature, but Todd Howard is out there to tell you that this is 15 times the quality.
Oh, you dirty bitch, work the shaft.
Why, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the stream. Why, it's so delightful to have you joining us. I see you're here for a delightful experience of absolute expeditionary proportions. And I'm going to stop doing that kind of an accent right now, even though I'm British, I feel insulted for myself. So welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. If you couldn't tell by my outrageous British accent, we're going to be watching another Spiffing Brit. Another Spiffing, this is going to stay in the video, I don't care. We're going to watch another Spiffing Brit video today. Specifically, it's going to be one on the, on Oblivion. Not the new one, the old one, because we got to remember where our heritage came from. And I'm definitely watching this out of spite because I bought Oblivion and couldn't goddamn play it because it was busted to all hell and I couldn't save my game. So we're going to go back and watch the original, which I can enjoy and play. Also, yeah, come join us live on Twitch. Go check out the Patreon and all that kind of good stuff if you want to support what I do. And hey, you're pretty awesome for being here. So this is Thank God It Was Broken. Elder Scrolls Oblivion is a perfectly balanced game with no exploits. Now, I want to put it out there. I don't dislike Bethesda games. I'm just not usually interested in them. When Oblivion Remake came out, I actually was really excited for it. And then I decided to play it, bought it, played it for like 4 hours, and realized that I couldn't save my game. And no matter what I tried, the game just would not let me save. I reinstalled it, I changed my doc files, I did everything under the sun to try and fix the saving issue, couldn't do it, so I refunded it. So at least now I get to get a vicarious experience of this through this very, very gender-bent version of myself.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I can still do that voice.
one of the greatest video games of all time. The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Now with a surprise remaster of this game releasing just about any day now.
Oh, come on, it's not a surprise. Everyone knew this was coming.
Last great exploit that is hidden well
like, everyone knew this was coming because they needed something to pad for when they're releasing the next Elder Scrolls game.
Where all of the NPCs have innate comedic timing, hilarious DLC practices, and more bugs than
money for a mount.
Jungle. All of this combines into a game that was perfectly imperfect.
We have to remember that when they made Oblivion originally, it was a very different time. Because by very different time, I mean it was a different time when taking acid was the staple of how to make your games. And then they impart that level of taking acid and doing the drugs into their game.
Perfect. Now,
Hi,
in the
Tag.
past,
Can you
I've
have a tag,
abused the game's bugs and glitches to create laughably broken characters.
I will say, I'm not upset that I'm not playing the new Oblivion remaster. But I am disappointed I don't get to look at the Flame Atarax in all their glory. Ember's premium skin from Warframe would like to have a conversation with those Flame Atarax.
We made an invisible character that physically can't be detected by the game's AI. We made Elon Musk a soulless god with near infinite stats. And most recently, Susan, a woman who just reflects 100% of all damage they receive. But today, we're diving deep into the game's code to show off an exploit that has been lost to time itself. It's surprisingly simple, hilariously overpowered, and of course, exceedingly mysterious.
We were talking about
so grab your
when we were playing Doom: The Dark Ages. I made a very big conversation about the fact I love games that have jank. I love games that have jank, and they're so like because there's like a spectrum, right? You have games that are janky and it's annoying, but then eventually you get so much jank in your game, it kind of reverses itself and becomes humorous. Where the game is so goddamn out the wazoo with jank and bugs and whatever that it kind of adds to the experience. And I think Oblivion was very much in that fashion. And to be fair, Skyrim as well. So bad, it's good.
Cup of tea. Give the video
like,
a like.
I love the fact they did not change a single thing in Oblivion, aside from the graphics. There's, like, they still have the oopsie dialogue for that lady where she has, like, a spit take in there. And they just left in the outtake for her dialogue.
We're about to find out if
even in the
Howard
remastered
made
version,
Oblivion a perfectly balanced game.
I don't like giving Bethesda too much credence here, but they did do a very good job remastering this.
Famously,
my experience is not indicative of how the game is.
Creators in all video. Now we're going to be naming our character Juan Punch because our goal is to create
I guess this kind of is because they knew what people wanted, right?
Abilities allow them to just quite simply Juan Punch an enemy to death. That means we must create an intimidating and powerful face that's definitely normal and human looking. I've seen
this in an anime.
already just created something that's an abomination, haven't I? Okay, right, we'll just randomize it. There we go. We'll get something normal with that. Oh, yes, I
will be honest, I was very
We're doing
disappointed with
fantastic.
Oblivion Remastered's character creator screen.
Yeah, we've reached alien stage of the Oblivion character creator.
But I guess that's where mods come in.
The sliders, do you want
I guess,
small
like, it's
forehead,
very
or do you want
authentic to the
Galaxy
original, the fact
brain?
they'd made
Looks like our
literally no
character's trying
changes to the game,
withhold
for the
a
most part.
fart, and they've just basically puckered
Like,
their
leaving in the
entire
jank,
body.
leaving in the
There's no other
oopsies,
way
leaving
to
in the
describe.
broken
Right,
parts
so,
of the game.
ladies and gentlemen,
It's an
this is
authentic
going to be our
experience.
hero today, Juan
Oh, he's
Punch,
beautiful.
who, for the first time ever,
Male VTubers, what's stopping you from looking peak like this, huh?
has an inverted mouth. I've never seen it in the Oblivion character creator. Oh, you're so disgusting. Right, let's play the game. Oh, are you sure you want to be a high elf? Yes, I actually do. This is the one redeeming necessary thing that we needed before we could exploit the game. And yeah, it's safe to say we look fantastic. My goodness. Now,
evolutionary deniers will say that the evolution doesn't exist. Well, all you need to do is show them this character to prove evolution is a thing.
You play as the tallest race of the game, meaning you actually have a 10% faster run speed than the average Imperial. That's pretty useful indeed. Now, as we can see at the start of the game, our lovely Juan Punch
he looks
begins
like a
with
troll
hardly
from the
anything.
90s.
We have pathetic levels of strength.
Mom, can we get a troll? But honey, we have trolls at home. Yeah, there he is. There he is. Look, I see literally no difference. I see literally no difference.
Relatively average intelligence, some willpower, some agility, some speed, bit of endurance, not much of a personality, and an acceptable quantity of luck. What this results in is us having only 80 health, 200 magic, and 150 fatigue. Fatigue is basically stamina, and it's the main thing we're going to be focusing on today.
I don't know whether every time I look at this, I remember that game.
See if we can help him with his adventure.
What was it, Stealth?
I'm a big fan.
You are the one from my dreams.
I apologize if I'm from your
It's like a
dreams,
game where you have to go into places and steal
basically,
stuff.
the Emperor's sons have been assassinated by an evil
I think it was
trying to
called?
summon an evil god into this world, and the Emperor is next up on the chopping block, meaning he's not on for this world.
What an
and we're going
upgrade
to
from the
join him as
remaster.
he tries to escape his own city. Now, this is a bit of a lucky day, and of course, like all good Elder Scrolls games, it starts with us being in prison, and unlike Skyrim, we aren't saved by a dragon Deus Ex Machinaing us out of the way. We're instead saved by the Emperor himself using a secret escape hatch.
Patrick
Right,
Stewart.
Anyway, we're starting to escape, and
I'm so glad Patrick Stewart has lived long enough to see his magnum opus getting remastered.
Luckily for me, I can cast Fireball on them. Yeah, take that. And oh no, Captain Renault died.
I know it's scripted, but when I got to this part, my captain died in a way that made them look like they tripped on the stairs. I know they're supposed to die and there's nothing you can do to stop it, but I was literally watching them run up and she just literally looked like she tripped down the stairs and broke her neck.
Oh, what a shame. Yeah, these mythic Dawn assassins have unfortunately claimed another life. Now, we get told to stay behind and not follow, but it's okay because we're about to be freed by a rat from
Oh no!
Yeah,
Rats!
goodbye, rat. And another rat comes. Oh, goodbye, Mr. Rat. I love the way their little bodies wiggle. And this now puts us in the tutorial adventure dungeon section. From
Which
here, we're
I
meant
thought
to
I'd
run
gone the
around
wrong
and
way.
fight some goblins and
I wasn't
skeletons
listening, so
before
I thought I was
eventually
supposed
making
to
our
follow
way
them.
out. We get introduced to our first set of armor. We even get introduced to the lockpicking minigame, which is terrible, and I hate it.
It is!
And of course,
I
if
had
you're
no-
feeling like you
it
want
was
an
so
incredibly
stupidly
masochistic way
simple,
of
and I
playing the
still
game,
managed to
then
fail it
why
somehow.
not use the rusty iron bow and arrows you find? Yes, Oblivion was released before Todd Howard decided...
Look at this man's face! Would you trust this man with any sharp implement at all? This guy looks like the kind of person that sniffs glue and tries to look through your window at 3 o'clock in the morning to try and tell whether you farted yet or not. I would not trust him with any sharp implement.
We should all be playing stealth archers, and as a result, archery is quite possibly one of the most boring ways to play the game. Anyway, we're simply going to run our way out of here. We're going to blow up some rats on the way, and even blow up this zombie. So with the remake coming out soon, this is a good time to talk about what made Oblivion so special.
Jank.
Of course, it had similarities to...
What made Oblivion so good? Jank! Utter jank! Similar to what makes VTubers good. Jank. Oh, you think the booba is what makes VTubers enjoyable? Nah, dude, it's the jank. There's nothing quite like loading up a stream and then realizing that you've been muted for 2 hours because nobody told you that everyone was too polite to tell you that they couldn't hear you. They just sat there politely going, yes, indubitably. Nothing like jank. Absolutely nothing like jank.
Skyrim, but this game truly rewarded player creativity. If you could imagine a weird spell combination, then you could make it. Most sandbox RPGs give a player tools, but still railroad the game into certain playstyles. Oblivion had no such limits, and that lets dastardly Brits like myself create some very funny unintended shenanigans.
That literally was my intent and purpose of playing the remaster. Every time I play something like this, I always go out of my way to do it in the most adverse way possible. Whatever the intended method is, I'll do the reverse. Not because I'm a brat, but because I like chaos. And I like to test the game's capabilities as to whether it can comprehend and deal with my nonsense.
And of course, you're going to be seeing a lot of that today. Anyway, we're going to rejoin with the Emperor, and he's going to give us a star sign, which is very fun. Hello there, Emperor.
The skies are marked with numberless sparse.
Now, when it comes to the star sign you can pick up, there's some great options in this game. However, for this particular exploit, you need to be careful. You don't want to pick up any skill that boosts strength, endurance, agility, or willpower.
Oh, you're going to be abusing null integers.
Later, we're going to pick up the Atronak. This means that we don't regain magicka over time, which is definitely a bit of a downside, but in turn you absorb 50% of any magic spells shot at you and gain a bit of extra maximum mana. Now, one of the fun things that I've always kind of enjoyed about Oblivion's storyline is that whilst our hero is kind of a little bit of a chosen one character, the main story definitely focuses on you actually finding the true chosen one and then leading him on the path to save the world, which is pretty cool. You level up by doing certain actions. For example, just jumping will give you acrobatics experience. So one of the standard cheeses of this game is to just simply jump up and down against the wall like you're in some kind of rave, and then eventually over time you'll somehow transform yourself into Simone Biles. Okay, now what's going to happen here is we get told to stay behind with the Emperor, but unfortunately he is going to be murdered. There's not much we can do.
I do have to ask why a Roman-themed dude has a samurai sword.
Important.
Take the amulet, give it to Joffrey. He alone
Oh,
knows where to find
Joffrey!
our son.
I certainly
However,
hope they're
I am
not going to
going
be at
try
a
and
red
do my
wedding.
best to save Emperor Uriel Septim here. Yes, I think one of the smartest things we can do is we could make him a smaller target to hit for the enemy assassin. There we go. Right, I've set his scale to be 0.3. Now he's down there. I don't think the assassin's going to be able to get him. No.
Did you just spaghetti that man?
Oh, he did. How could you? You killed the Emperor.
Oh no! You
No,
spaghettied the Emperor!
Is dead. My goodness. He's turned into a noodle. He turned into a noodle boy. Barrius, what do we do? The Emperor's become
Wait, did you know that we have a Discord and a Twitch? No? Well, now you do. So what are you waiting for? Why don't you click those little links over there and be part of the fun? Just like the rest of us cool kids, you know what I'm saying?
Anyway, we can fill Barrius in and say that, hey, the Emperor gave us the amulet and told him to find his son. Now we're going to be
Like, think about it, right? Back in those days, the best you were going to get out of a cutscene was either some janky in-game engine nonsense that looked like something out of the back of a Craigslist ad, or they'd use live-action cutscenes, a la Red Alert style. God, I miss those.
To pick our class here, and there's a few options we can go for. Now we're going to create a custom class, of course, that is going to be mage focused. We want to choose 2 favored attributes. For this exploit, we won't be picking strength, willpower, agility, or endurance. Instead, we'll go for luck, which just affects everything, and we'll pick up intelligence for some mega brainy powers. Now this is going to be the Wimpus class.
Why worry about big, strong arms when you've got the brain to be able to overcome everything? It's not about what you fight, it's about how you fight.
Very unique class indeed. For our goal is to create an incredibly wimpy character who...
Wimpus! Oh my god, what a name! Funny enough, that's what I called someone's junk when they whipped it out, saying it was going to be 9 inches and it ended up being a 2-inch wonder. Wow, what a Wimpus.
Who is going to be able to one-shot everything. Right, let us play as the Wimpus. This actually gives us a huge amount of additional spells that we can mess about with, like say
Wimpus?
Life,
what about Wimp you
magic,
or Wimp me,
frost damage. All of this stuff is very cool indeed. Or alternatively, I can just use my Goblin Shaman staff instead of using actual magic. The staff is basically just a goblin's head on a...
He says Freudian slip. I want to say that's more intrusive thoughts winning.
stick and it works as a taser, which means it's a fantastic weapon.
Oh, you dirty bitch. Work the shaft.
Of course. Look, go, taser, go. Well, we threw that rat into the water. Oh, poor ratters. And here we go. We've successfully escaped from the game's tutorial. We are now finally ready to adventure in the world of Oblivion.
Oh my god.
Welcome to the lovely landscape.
Dude, you can straight up put anything on any yellow text on blue background and turn into an invincible meme.
Oblivion. This is quite an iconic site. I mean, it's so iconic. It's even the main screenshot that was leaked about the game's new remake. And yeah, I kind of love it. And oh, is that already a mud crab?
And this is where I got to before the game bugged out immensely and it prevented me from saving.
A fork on you.
So this is all I saw of the game.
Cutlery. But yes, this game is kind of fantastic. It's always managed to maintain its beautiful hook of just wanting you to continue exploring in this landscape, which is very nice indeed. Now, in order to achieve our one-punch build, we actually need to lower our stats, which is something that no Oblivion player would ever logically do. I mean, why would you want to actually make yourself weaker? Why would you want to lower your willpower?
I think they're going to try and cheese null integers. Like, numbers are a funny thing, and your powers in this are all numbers. When you start going into the games are derived to work in the positives to scale you. So when you go into the negatives, the game gets very confused, and it gets a null integer when it doesn't know what to do with it, so it goes to the next feasible space, which is likely the highest level.
The willpower determines how much magic you can regenerate. Well, seeing as I have the Atronac Stone, I'd never generate magic anyways, so setting it to 0 isn't really going to bother me. But as willpower also affects your fatigue, which in turn ties into how much damage you do, we can exploit this to do a ridiculous amount of damage. So our first step is to find something to permanently lower our willpower.
Alcohol?
Now, of course, there are various potions and effects and diseases in the game that can lower your statistics, but there's also just...
Oh, I know a way to lower your stats. If you want to lower your wisdom to 0, intelligence to 0, and your physical capabilities to 0, watch one of my streams. I'll make you feel real smart after a while. And by real smart, I mean brain dead.
Alchemical ingredients that can lower it, but alchemy ingredients cost money, and we don't really have any of that just yet. I've got 46 septims in the bank. That's hardly enough.
I mean, honestly, guys, if you have a brain cell watching the stream, if you have a wrinkle on your brain, you're officially overqualified for being here.
The way the developers intended and go about
in fact,
doing some
I better not see any brain cells out there for people watching this right now.
It actually makes far more sense for us to cheese this game's economy. And so that's exactly what we're going to do, as we're going to use the magical power of duplication glitches in order to make us all the money we're ever going to need. So into the Mystic Emporium we go, where we can talk to the
not going to be winning the
glitchless
run
of
this speed run.
He's got a fantastic hairline, my goodness. Now this gentleman is very good. But
I'm kind of more surprised you didn't make a reference to Asmongold, but hey.
Because he sells various scrolls, and we can use these scrolls to do some cheeky things. So let us buy 2 frenzy scrolls from him. There we go. They cost 8 gold
cheeky.
each.
It's so
There
cheeky.
goes some of our money, and that's fantastic. What we can then do with these scrolls is have them selected in our inventory, and then shift drop a different item on the floor, which will cause it to become 2 items. So
what?
There we go. We now have 2 flashbolts. We can click on the frenzy again and drop the chameleon. And there we go, 2 chameleon spells. Isn't that great?
Dude, I straight up love the fact he's literally performing this act of demon worship right in front of the alchemists. Like, yes, I completely break the alchemical rule of equivalent exchange, and I duplicate things and warp the fabric of reality. I am literally committing acts of God in front of you, and you're too big. Oh my God, what is up with her face?
You're going to have a conversation. Wow, look at that incredible animated hand movements. Oh, groundbreaking for the age. Okay, now I've been doing this exploit for just a little while. Oh my goodness, look at all of the scrolls I'm getting. Okay, and once again, we're just duping our way up in the world. There we go. We now have ourselves 32 chameleon scrolls. They
want to make you believe that this isn't an intended feature, but Todd Howard is out there to tell you that this is 15 times the quality.
Now we're going to have ourselves probably about 40-something frenzy scrolls as well.
15 times the quality,
I'm make myself
15 times the experience, which means you pay 15 times the value of the game, and you're going to have 15 times the jank, which is why the game is worth 15 times the original value. That's not a scam, you're just getting what you're worth.
Chameleon scrolls out of thin air.
Oh
the game
my God.
is actually surprisingly handling all of this very well. You can take this exploit to its logical extremes and duplicate, say, 4,000 watermelons. But in my case, we just need a little bit of extra cash. We're going to sell probably about 24 of them, and that should give us, yep, 672 gold. Perfect.
You
That
just
should be about as much money.
committed an affront to the fabric of the reality to milk this man dry for his money. This guy just got scammed. This guy just got inducted into a Ponzi scheme and he doesn't even know it.
Money as we need. Next up, we're going to need to grab ourselves a couple of ingredients. We're going to need these ingredients for some alchemy. So it's over to the main ingredient shop we go to have a chat with the wonderful Ogier Georg here. Hello there.
Oh,
Now,
mate,
this
you looking
gentleman
proper
sells
fancy,
something
you is.
very useful. The elf cup cap. It's a little mushroomy thing that, yes, you can find in the wilderness and landscape of the world, but alternatively, you can just buy it from this man for 9 gold. So we're going to buy 4 of them.
Be seeing you.
Fantastic.
And duplicate.
That is half of the ingredients we're going to need. Now, what we're going to then do is fast travel to the Imperial City waterfront. And instead of actually staying here and interacting with the locals, we have ourselves a very important target. Literally just in a straight line in this direction, we're going to be able to find ourselves a pub. And inside of the pub is one of the
How very
rarest
convenient and how very
alchemical
fortuitous for a
ingredients
British
in the
person to find a
entire
pub for a
game.
cheeky
There's only about
Nando's.
6 spawns of
And a
it on
cheeky
the
pint,
entire
mate.
world
Cheeky
map,
midday
and unlike
pint.
others, they don't refresh.
Never too
Basically
late for
means
to
you
get
have
wasted.
To exploit the game in order to actually use it, and I take that as a sign as Todd Howard personally wanting us to cheese things.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
can tell it's quite a classy establishment
It's all well intended.
because the bar staff sleep behind the bar on a singular bed.
Well,
And
Damn. $2,900 a month New York apartment right there.
here we go. Inside of the pub, that lovely bar staff, Abhuki, actually sells this ingredient. It is a root pulp. It's a seemingly useless ingredient, seeing as it just cures disease and damages willpower, but for our purposes, it's absolutely perfect. So, thank you very much, Abhuki. You've given us the world. For now, we have the alchemical ingredients we need to craft something magical. By combining the lovely root
So
pulp
what's
with
it
the
gonna
elf cup
be?
cap, we're able to create a potion of cure disease.
Oh my god. It's like, so you're the alchemist that we've sent for to cure our city of its infestation and plague and disease. Why, yes, I am here as your alchemist, but I'm not going to make what you think I'm going to make. I'm making things to be an affront to God.
Now, as this has a positive effect, we as the player
But could you still
are
cure
allowed
us?
to actually
No.
consume it, even though it also comes with the negative side effect of damaging our willpower. So we need to, of course, name this potion after something that damages one's will to live. So I'm going to be naming this potion the
Why is Hawk 2 still a thing? Oh god. Like, I love how she disappeared, came back, hoping people would, like, take the hype of what she's done. She's getting a TV series, by the way. She's getting a TV series. Talk about condensed Hawk, not condensed Hawk tour, condensed stupidity.
The condensed hawk tour. There we go. Fantastic. We've created it. A potion designed to perfectly destroy one's will to live.
True.
And of course, because we can duplicate any item inside of our inventory, what we're going to do
It's
is
truly
find ourselves
such
our
a
lovely scrolls,
depicting sign of how much of a dystopian world we live in, where somebody who gets famous for going Hawk Tour gets as famous as she does.
Hawk Tours rolling everywhere. Come back here, Hawk Tours. Please, I need you to melt my brain.
That's a lot of Hawk Tour.
There we go. We now have 30
That's a lot of condensed
Hawk
stupidity.
Tours. That should probably be enough. Right now,
And
this
yet still
is
not enough condensed
fantastic,
stupidity
as
for
we're
me.
now going to be able to lower our fatigue by basically chugging condensed Hawk Tour. The way this works is we're going to be damaging our willpower. So quite simply, I'm going to go into my inventory, drink this, which the game is going to allow me to do because it's seemingly positive, and that has damaged my willpower by 1 point. However, this is also a status effect that happens over time. For every second, we'll lose 1 willpower. And so after 4 seconds, there we go, we're down to 36 willpower. We can then drink another condensed Hawk Tour potion. This once again lowers our willpower, now down to 32. And
Somewhere out there, somebody needs to use this as a PSA for alcoholism. Don't do alcoholism. Look at this man. This man did 1 Corona. And now look at him. Absolutely degenerate.
you'll notice that our fatigue has also dropped. It used to be 150, now it's 142. So I'm just going to repeatedly Hawk Tour myself until my character loses the will to live.
You love to see it.
Right, so after drinking enough of those potions, our willpower is now down to 0, which is pretty good, as it has dropped our fatigue to 110. Now, the damage you do in this game is partly calculated based on your fatigue. If you've done an action like run, jump, or swing a sword, your fatigue will be below its maximum. And if you attack without a full fatigue bar, you'll only do a fraction of your maximum damage.
Makes
swing
sense.
a sword at your maximum fatigue, and you'll do your normal 100%.
Is this where we're going to deal with null
integers? If you find a way to increase
negative
your fatigue
numbers
above its base maximum with something like a potion or a spell, then you'll actually be doing more than your base damage. This is tied to the relativity of how.
Right, so I know where this is going. He's gonna somehow manage to get his fatigue into the negative, and because the game doesn't know how to register negative, it'll make it some stupid number, like an infinitesimal kind of number.
How much extra fatigue you have in comparison to your maximum. So we need to find a way to lower our willpower even further so that our base fatigue is as low as it can be. You see, the game normally wouldn't let you achieve a negative score of willpower. All stats in the game basically bottom out at 0. But if we're able to temporarily raise our willpower, we can then drink another potion and lower it even further beyond.
Oh no.
If only there was a spell that could let us temporarily raise
our
our
fatigue.
fatigue.
See where this is going.
Now, we've made our way over to Anvil for one very important reason. We're here to join the Mages College. Yay! It's a lovely little faction.
Time to join a college we don't have the intelligence to be part of. Look at these brainy people out here.
Mages Guild, we have Forian. He's great. He's managed to tame an imp. It's Sparky. He's really cute. I mean, he kind of looks like a grumpy old man, but, you know, he's called Sparky, so he's adorable.
At least get you the imps from World of Warcraft. At least those are kind of cute.
Anyway, Forian,
in a I'm going to nibble your toes kind of way.
He sells various important spells. He's the only merchant in the game to sell almost all of the absorb skills in this entire game's catalog. So yes, we're going to buy the absorb willpower spell for 74 gold. Thank you very much. So there we go. That was the spell we needed.
This is some
Fantastic.
absurd levels
so all we
of
need to do
cheese.
is find someone who wouldn't be upset with
Also
us
kind of a telling sign where after your first playthrough, maybe 2 playthroughs of the game, the only inevitable way you play through the game after your second playthrough is just by doing the most absurd builds imaginable. I have a friend of mine, right? Their name's Meji. They are a Elder Scrolls streamer. They made their name specifically by streaming Skyrim specifically. I mean, they've done all the Elder Scrolls games at some point or another, but they have something absurd like 12,000 hours in Skyrim. And the amount of, like, shenanigans they've done in that game to try to make it, like, replayable infinitely, it boggles the mind, the level and scope of modability and just complete batshitedness you can do with this game.
Their willpower and using it to fortify our own skills temporarily. So we can then drink our condensed hawk tour and lower our willpower to below 0. Now, you might struggle to find such a willing subject on the world map, and that's why we're not going to find a willing subject.
Oh.
These are the worshippers of the god of Peryite. Now, they appear to be frozen in time and mindless, and none of them move or speak, and of course we must be level 10 to begin this quest, so yeah, we can't do that. I mean, look at these poor guys, they're just not having a great time. But thankfully, they are—
Man, I'm so jealous. I wish I could sleep like those guys.
Are frozen in time and space and unable to react to us. We can do whatever we like to them and they can't respond.
Oh my god.
So this is where the fun begins. So what we're going to do is throw our stats into the—
Did somebody say a violation of the Geneva Convention? Well, it's not so much a convention as it is a suggestion.
negative. Using lovely Karen here, we're going to need to equip the spell to absorb willpower. For you see, at the moment at 0 willpower, we could drink another condensed hawk tour, but it wouldn't actually lower our stats at all. We need at least one attribute before that can take effect. So what we're going to do is cast our lovely spell to absorb skill from Karen. This will raise our willpower to 5. This spell is only going to last 20
that
seconds.
seems slightly
though.
unethical.
Still, that's all the time we need. So
I mean, it's only unethical if you get caught doing it. And seeing as everyone around you is having a big old heap, I don't think there's much of a violation of the Geneva Convention happening at all. I think this is perfectly acceptable. They're just podiums of power used to permeate your propagation of pontificating population.
We're going to drink 1 condensed hawk tour, which will lower my willpower by 4. Then once that's finished, I will drink another one.
I like how they're still frozen in time, but they're still like moving with the ambient movement.
All we need to do is wait a few seconds for the absorb skill spell to actually end, and there we go. Now that it has ended, you'll notice that my willpower is at -5. Hang on a second, that's a negative skill. Todd, I shouldn't be able to do that, should I?
Oh no!
So what do we do
So
from
what does
here?
negative willpower mean?
Cast the spell
exactly.
again by casting
you have so little willpower to do things that you're actually doing things
on this gentleman over here, and now we're up to a willpower of 5. That's great. We can then once again drink the condensed hawk tour, and again, and then wait for this spell to end. Now, there's just one minor problem with this exploit, and that is that there is technically a limit with how far we can take it. If you see, we are currently at -10 willpower, but when I cast the Drain Willpower spell on all of these people here, I'm only able to go back up to 0 willpower, because my spell isn't really that powerful. This means that if I were to then drink a potion of Condensed Hawk Tour, which damages my willpower, as you can see, it is still currently sat at 0, so when the spell
you gotta break
inevitably is
that boundary
broken
somehow.
after 20 seconds, we'll see that my willpower has in fact not dropped below 10. This is just a limit with the spell that I've created, and as a result, in order to pull off this exploit, we're going to need to craft a spell that's even more powerful. And so for that, we need to take a visit to Frostcrag Spire.
Interesting. So we are abusing the equations, I see.
This is a random building in the middle of nowhere, which for some reason we've been given. It's part of the DLC, okay?
Oh goodness, look, it's the it's London Tower.
This little mountain home ours. So we can open up the door with our key.
This is what it feels like to live in England in
magical
summer.
it is. We can open up this doorway and huzzah! Look, it's our little
Oh my
home.
goodness!
And
It's where
inside of it,
Harry
we
Potter
have
learned
the
how to
altar of
cast
enchanting, which you can use to make
lightsaber.
custom enchantments, Atronak altar, which you can use
My
for some
favorite part of
incredible
Harry
summon
Potter,
companions,
when he
and the
defeated
altar of
the Empire and
spellmaking,
stopped
which, if
the
we have
rise
some
of
mage tallow
Bowser.
candles, will allow us to make our very own spells. So let's make our way back into the city to buy some mage tallow candles.
You know, for all the jank, and Skyrim has this as well. This is like a Bethesda mark quality. Say what you will about Bethesda, say what you will about the bull crap they've done over the time. It is impressive how grand of a scope their games have. What game was it? I think it was one of their other games. Not Oblivion, but the one that came before, not Morrowind. God, what was it? Dagger's Reach, I think? Where the map was so incredibly big. It was like literally the size... Daggerfall, yes, thank you. Daggerfall was so incredibly big. For the time that it came out, it was just ridiculously impressive. Yeah, here we go.
Some of you don't...
So, this is what I'm talking about. Josh Strikeface does a better example of explaining this, but it is immense. Like, again, whatever the hell is wrong with Bethesda, no one will ever deny that their games aren't at least expansive and have things happening in them. The worst thing you can have with a sandbox game is, like, a sandbox game that has nothing going on in it.
Don't understand
That's
how
why
big
Red
this
Dead was
game
so
is.
amazing.
All of these little segments of the map we can travel to, and they are all individual segments with huge amounts of adventure within them. You see this little island just here, called Bethany. That island is bigger than all of Skyrim, the game. If you overlaid the maps of these games, all of Skyrim would fit on that. The world of Daggerfall is just slightly smaller than Great Britain. You can choose to manually travel to places. Let me show you what manually traveling to a place looks like. Let's travel to this town to the right, a place called Charlie. When we click begin, we will begin running to
necessary?
that
Absolutely
place.
not.
Here we go.
But talk about having an immersive world.
If we were to
Holy
run this
crap.
at normal speed, the game just told me it would take 4 hours to do. And this green section, this isn't the game. This is one section of the game. Just that section. Daggerfall is huge.
Absolutely wild. Like, Bethesda's mark of quality is certainly squiffy. But I don't think anyone can deny that their games are at least like, there's an infinitesimal level of playability within their games.
What can I do for you?
Old woman!
Here is the merchant who we need
Oh
to
my
deal
God, that's a
with,
jump scare.
and she sells the mage tallow candles. The problem is she sells them for 3,000 gold. I do not have 3,000 gold. What do you like the look of in my inventory? Potion of healing?
Oh
okay,
no!
well,
A
I've
woman!
got some
I'm
great
so
news
scared!
For you. We're about to
Please
make
don't
a lot
hurt
of
me!
potions of healing. First, I select my 58 chameleon spells. And
Sorry, I'm
then
allergic
I
to
click
women.
On the potion of healing.
Actually, I'm just
and
allergic to
huzzah, 50 potions of healing. Some would call this an inflationary market practice. To those people, I would say, yes. And there we go. After selling our potions of healing, I now have 3,600 gold, which should now hopefully be enough for me to
rich
buy
bitch.
the Mage Tallow Candles box. Yes, there we go. So with that extra money, we're going to
Yeah,
actually
but
run across the
I mean, that's
street
what I
and
mean
go
when I
into
say
Edgar's
Bethesda has
discount
kind of got a lot
spells.
of, like,
Edgar's great,
weird
because he actually
shit they
sells
do.
some relatively
I'm very
okay
concerned.
spells.
I am kind of concerned that the next Elder Scrolls game is going to be an immense disappointment just because every time we, like, what Patovi's just said is that they keep removing stuff from previous Scrolls games. And I get why they do that, but I'm very concerned that the next Elder Scrolls game is going to be tiny.
Were pretty terrible, I won't lie. I mean, who wants to cast Snowball? That just sounds pathetic. But instead, you do have the Greater Fortify Fatigue and the Fortify Fatigue spells, both of which will be very valuable to us. So I'll be stealing both of those.
I see what you're doing.
So fantastic. I can now
It's all
travel
about
back
manipulation.
to my lovely spire.
Man, if this person put the level of manipulation they're doing into the stock markets rather than a video game, they'd be
Fortify
rich.
Fatigue spells, like this bad boy that will Fortify Fatigue by 100 on self for 10 seconds. Why not? Let's make it. I'll call this one Vim for giving us a bit of extra punch. So there we go. We've made ourselves a new spell. Now we're going to want to make our Absorb Willpower spell.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
not necessarily about the size of the environment. It's more about how populated it feels.
Of about 5 seconds. That should do nicely. And there we go. We can now create the Will Suck spell. Now let's go actually put it into use.
Give him the good suck.
Now that we're back here, we want to get all of these lovely worshippers into the same location by just nudging them into one another. Come on, stand close together. I want to maximize the...
I've seen a hentai with a similar plot device to this. Time stop magic. Definitely time not to do some debauched things to these people.
Benefit of my spell power. There we go. Now that they're all standing within
Just
10
like one of
feet
my
of each
Japanese
other,
anime.
if I were to cast my Will Suck spell, we're going to absorb 60 points of willpower from everyone in a 10-foot radius for 5 seconds. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We cast this spell, we immediately drain the willpower of everyone around us, and you'll notice we now have 186 willpower. Wow, that's huge. That's taken our fatigue up to 296. And because we now have above 0 willpower, we're going to be able to drink our poison again. So I'm going to drink some condensed Hawk Tour. And there we go. After our Absorb Willpower spell fades, you'll notice we're now down to minus 22 willpower. Wow, that's even more negative. So we're going to cast the spell
we're
again.
so negative that we're pretty damn unexisting right now.
Look at that, it's now minus 34 willpower. Wow.
I'm going to say this is verging on mathematics, and if there's one thing I'm allergic to, it's mathematics. What do you mean a minus plus a minus is a positive? I don't fucking understand that bullshit.
I'm going to need to dupe a few more Hawk Tours. I never thought I was going to have to say that ever in my entire life. This is my job. This is my job. How am I meant to explain this to someone? I don't think I can leave the...
It is the streamer's bane, having to explain what they do to their accountants. So what do you do for a living? I had to do this literally like the other day. I'm in the process of moving house, and I had to explain to the solicitors what I do for a living to validate my finances. And I was like, yeah, so I'm an entertainer. I'm like, an entertainer that makes this amount of money a year? Yeah, so, yeah, no, I'm a freelance entertainer. And like, they said, what, like a clown? You know, that's not far from the mark. And then I had to explain what Twitch was. And they're like, oh, why didn't you just say Twitch to begin with? We deal with lots of people like that.
The country. You know, when an immigration lawyer asks what you do, and it's like, oh, well, I spent, 40 hours in Oblivion creating the worst character build. They just wouldn't get it. And lovely, we are now down to minus 97 willpower, which gives us a total fatigue of 13. I don't know, I guess when it comes to attacking, we can do about half of one swing, and there we go, that's about it. Can I jump? Yeah, I can jump, and then look at my stamina bar.
Oh my god.
Like 1 frame a second. I'm just going to do this one more time. Let's condense Hawk Tour ourselves.
We're about to hit the negatives.
And there we go. We've achieved, oh dear, a problem, a minor problem, as I've gone to minus 3 fatigue. Right. So
literally just giving up on the will to live.
Fatigue, I can no longer move.
You can no longer live.
So let me quickly cast Fortify Fatigue. Oh, I can't because I'm down on the ground. Right, I've realized a minor problem with what I've done here. I need to get myself just a little bit of fatigue.
No!
Let me drink that weak fatigue potion.
I mean, to be fair, this is how you can either go through this really arduous process of getting negative willpower, or become a VTuber. It's the same effect. That, or do a 182-day-long donathon. Then talk to me.
What does that do? That does nothing. Okay, I've Hawk Toured too close to the sun. I need to lower my stats. But
that is not a phrase I thought here.
We can't achieve negative fatigue, else then we can no longer move. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have done it. I have achieved peak perfection. After consuming just the right quantity of Hawk Tuah potions, I have managed to drop my willpower to minus 109. Yes, we've done it. We've achieved a fatigue of 1. That's right. We have the lowest possible amount of fatigue in the game that still allows us to move around. But in front of us is
so what? You take one step and
ourselves a rat. So
slow down, Speedy.
Actually test out our damage. I'm going to hit the rat with my sword, and as you can see, it takes a little bit of damage, and after 3 swings, he dies. That's pretty decent. But what if instead I queue up a different spell? What if I queue up a little bit of Fortify Fatigue? Yes, this spell here. For 7 mana, I can give myself 25 points of fatigue temporarily for 45 seconds. So I'll cast this spell, and suddenly you'll notice that my fatigue is now 26 out of 26, and it's green. And now when I hit the rat, oh, he's dead in 1 shot. That's because I just...
Oh, it's working on multiplication. It's a multiplicative thing rather than an additive thing. Because it's 1, it's getting confused by the oh god... So the way that, having learned a bit of coding recently, but especially in older games, the way metrics would work is that it requires numbers to be above 1. Because 1 times 1 is 1, right? 1 times 0 is 0. And when you're above that threshold, the multiplicative facets of how the numbers work kind of allows it to exponentially work with the way the mathematics works within the game. When you sit at a 1, it's gonna confuse it because it's like, well, 1 times 1 is 1, but we can't do 1 times 1, so what's gonna be the next best thing? I know, let's go to the other end of the spectrum.
Just did 26 times
borderlining a zero underflow, a null underflow.
Yes, Todd, you've done it again. I've made another god. It's Juan Punch. Juan Punch is here to save the day. And by that I mean we're going to turn him into a mass murdering killer. Yay! Oh, oopsies. Accidentally fell over on a rock. Okay,
Oops.
That is one of the problems we have whilst running around is if we're in the air whilst our Fortified Fatigue spell is active, we will just faceplant into things, which I guess can lead to glorious comedic timing.
Who doesn't love murder? I love murder! Yay! Murder! And I just screamed that with my window open. I don't know what my neighbors must think of me when I scream shit like that.
Anyway, Splendid, I'm now going to take myself
in
over
Minecraft.
to some kind of dangerous environment. Yes. Right, now I've got the perfect test of our strength. We're going to make our way over to Battlehorn Castle, where the defenders are currently being
Absolutely
besieged
not.
by marauders
Is it a lot of
and
fun?
appealing for aid. Apparently their commander has been killed, and they're offering the castle itself to anyone who can lift the siege. I mean, that sounds really quite desperate. My goodness. Imagine you're losing a siege that badly. You're just like, come over here and we'll give you the castle. Look at these 2 guys running around. Or is that a wolf? That's a wolf. It's a wolf enemy. I thought I was like, oh, look, friendly. Oh, dear, wolves actually have a huge amount of health. Right, I'm going to have to cast my Fortify Fatigue spell, and there we go. 2 hits and the wolf is dead. Now, the reason we still didn't kill that wolf in 1 hit is because I'm using literally the most basic weapon in the game. This is a steel short sword. It does a damage of 1. I really also don't have any good skills. When it comes to blade, I'm level 6. That's about as terrible as you can get. So the fact that even then it only takes me 2 hits to kill a wolf, that's surprisingly good. But yes, any superior weapon we get, even if it's just an extra 2 damage.
This feels like OG Warframe back when I gave a shit about it. This feels like being able to find a build that somehow manages to extremely exacerbate the multiplicative factors of your damage ratios. One of my favorite things to do back when I was really into Warframe was to find builds and to find ways of breaking the way the game worked. And DE didn't like that. They didn't like you having fun and playing the game the way you wanted to.
Well, suddenly that will be massive. Well, hello, you just spooked me, my goodness, woman. Oh, woman, watch out, there's a bandit. Hello, I'm going to actually be borrowing that
I hope he doesn't
weapon
get
of yours,
punched.
after I kill you. Come back here, bandit. There we go. 2 hits.
My God.
What have you got? You have a lockpick and you dropped your axe. An iron works. It also is just 1 damage. Can someone please give me a weapon that does more than 1 damage? Right, now I've got my lovely spell equipped. I can clearly see some dangerous enemies. Let's charge in and save the day. Oh, I fell over on a rock. Okay.
Looney Tunes comedy.
Now let's charge in and save the day. Just forget that happened. Right, hello there, evil.
Hello, soon-to-be dead people.
I can hit you. No, get back here. Oh, surprisingly, I mean, I'm doing okay, but I'm actually going to die here, aren't I?
Nah, you'll be...
Oh, dear. Yep, I've been murdered.
Beans.
Well, I think I've learned something here. My Fortify Fatigue by 25 point spell is pretty good, but it could be better. Yes, I can use my Vim spell instead to fortify my fatigue by 100 points. This will now boost our damage output by 100 times, meaning instead of our pathetic
Yes, that's what I mean by confusion. Because it's not above 1, it would the multiplicative factor works on the numbers above. Like if it's 2, it's like 2 times X value for whatever the damage of the weapon is. At 1, it's like 1 times whatever you're using. So 1 times 2 becomes a much more like the multiplicative factor gets very confused. I love seeing this kind of stuff because it's so stupid and it's so weird to think people figure this stuff out.
Damage, it can now hit for 100 damage, thus allowing us to truly become Juan Punch Man. So let me cast my spell and come on, whack your dead. Come here. Nope, get back here, Mr. Mage. Come here, Mage. Punch, you're dead.
And this is without even having a weapon that has a bigger base damage to multiply by.
Marauder Warlord, you're dead as well. Lovely.
Jeez.
You just one-hit everyone. Oh, an Iron Claymore.
Jolly
That'll
good.
be a better weapon for me. It's got a longer reach. Oh, there we go. Hello.
But I thank you for risking your own
Kill them.
life to help.
Kill
So
them!
we are
Now, listen here, Spiffing Brit. I know that inside that brain, there is an intrusive thought somewhere that wants you to commit grand arson. Now, I know the correct thing to do here is to be friends with everybody. But why not murder? Why not kill? Why not be the superior being? Don't resist the intrusive thoughts. Give in. Become the murderer.
now the brand new master of the castle. Isn't that great? I mean, this was surprisingly easy. Literally just come in and they give you a castle for killing like 4 people.
How are they getting
Not exactly a
camped by like
challenge, is it?
5 guys? Like, don't make me question things here, but how... This must be a pretty terrible castle if they managed to get themselves besieged by 4 dudes.
Alright, so now that I've secured myself a fancy castle to live in and a slightly better weapon, I think it's time I set about achieving my ultimate goal. I want to kill 2 of this game's hardest enemies. I want to kill the final boss of the game in the form of Dagon himself, but on top of that I also want to kill Umbra, who is an absolutely nightmarish godlike character that you fight at the end of one of this game's DLC quest lines. So yes, if we intend to slay 2 of this game's final bosses, we're going to need a slightly better weapon. So for that reason I've decided to make my way back to the Imperial City because I want to slay one of this game's hardest early fights. I want to kill Umbra. And most players try and fight her in a way that cheeses her. I know many a person who just simply kites her back to your closest Imperial City guard and have 8 of them fight her. But no, in my case, I intend to fight her
Dude, that sounds straight like from World of Warcraft back in the day. Kiting big old dragons to bully newbies in starting zones.
But first we have to deal with 2 random bandits who are just loitering around here. So I'm going to cast my Fortify Fatigue spell, and then, suddenly, yeah, my magic arrows just one-hit everyone we run into.
Good!
So, yep, let me fortify my fatigue and yeet. There we go. We did it.
That guy who does the lore-accurate educational archery videos, you know the ones I'm talking about. I'm sure we've all seen them. That it's like that really twinky-looking guy who's like a professional archer and he like makes educational TikToks about his archery skills. Yeah, he watches this and is like, disgusting. Yeah,
I'm great at combat. Right, let's go find Umbra. Oh dear, there's another bandit. Go away, sir. There we go, you've died. Tragedy. Oh, there's clearly another bandit down there. Right, let me just quickly prep an arrow and yeet. There we go, they're dead.
One punch!
Oh my goodness. We've got some other enemies over there, so yeet. There we go, that's 1 person dead. Is there 1 more of them? Come on, come around here. Oh dear, oh my goodness, my fatigue spell ran out and I accidentally just got... I don't even know what that was. I have no explanation for what I just experienced. Okay, there's still another enemy down there. Yeet, there we go, they're dead. Oh, hello, sir. Hello, Mr. Bandit Ringleader. Goodbye, Bandit Ringleader. You dropped ham. Thanks for the ham, Mr. Bandit Man.
Yummers. Oh man, I'm so hungry.
Oh dear, we got a Skelly Archer. Okay, I need to be careful because, ow, he did a lot of damage to me, but he's dead. Oh dear, that gentleman certainly looks dangerous.
The
oh my
necromancer.
goodness, you just summoned the skeleton. Goodbye, evil necromancer. You took 2 hits. Oh
he
my
tanked
goodness.
it. What a unit.
And is that genuinely this rune completed? I was here to try and find Umbra, and I guess I've wandered into the wrong place. Yeah, I most definitely have.
Sponsor time?
Yeah, I'm instead hunting for the Aelid rune that is named after Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's greatest rival.
He went to the wrong place. What a muppet!
Which is located,
you know, somebody who's self-conscious would have edited that out to make themselves not look like an idiot. But much like me, I'm too lazy.
In that direction. Yeah, it should be around about over here, and then we'll be able to go and find her. So even though we did go through one ruin and we killed an evil necromancer and probably saved the lives of loads of people, I don't care. I'm after a fancy weapon, thank you very much. I don't care how many people I accidentally save
you're really
along the way.
living up to that
doing
British standard.
Grand Punch is doing it for himself.
British people have standards,
we have no
mate.
willpower, which means we have
polite.
no will to become
we're
a hero.
considerate.
We just
don't talk to other people because that means we got to have the postulation as to whether they might be trying to steal from us. We stick to ourselves and we exist in our own little bubbles.
Instead, switch to the more powerful Claymore. All right, let's go into Vita's door. Come on, yeah, there we go. Let's enter the door.
Man, I've never felt so I've never felt like I've had such a self-insert to a video. I too sometimes just walk along and then fall into a crumpled pile of ass on the floor.
Just falling around on the floor, and that has broken the game. Okay, we're falling through the world. Do not open doorways when you are not in touch with the floor. Yeah, that was a bad decision. Now we are stuck in this. Oh, it's nice to know that after all these years, you are still always playing Oblivion. I'll drop down a quick save this time. Into Vin Diesel we go. We'll explore his...
From where you start, you shall remain. Return to the void again.
I suppose we can see how good we are without our spell. Oh my goodness, we're not good because I accidentally fell into a trap. Hello there, rats. Rats, surprisingly still dangerous enemies. They take 2 hits.
What?
Mud
How?
crabs, they also take a lot of hits. I will say there is actually an advantage from being set at just having 1 fatigue. That is that in order to do an attack, I have to be back at my maximum fatigue, which means I never hit for anything less than 100%, which is actually pretty good.
Busted.
And here we go. It is Umbra, one of the most dangerous and frustrating early game enemies to try and fight. We are now going to 1v1 her using this pathetic level 1 Claymore. Bearing in mind, we are level 1, we are of the Whimpers class, we have negative 100 will to live, and a blade skill that could probably be vested by a toddler wielding a pair of safety scissors. Still, we're going to challenge her to a fight. So I'm going to cast my magical spell and whack. Oh my goodness, she still has health. Oh dear, this is bad.
Too much health. Make it 0. Wow. That's a lot of damage. Time to go stealth archer.
Even though I'm doing 100% more damage, 100% more damage when you still are genuinely terrible, it's still not very good.
Thank you for the follow.
It's okay, we're going to give this another go. I'm going to crouch on down. I'm going to cast my Greater Fortify of Fatigue. We're going to do a stealth attack. We're going to do a big hit. And there we go. Sneak attack for 1 times damage. Unfortunately, we've still died in 2 hits.
Even with 0 will to live, you ain't going to live again.
Yeah, I suppose we are still a level 1 player. And if we can't defeat Umbra, we stand absolutely no chance against the final bosses of this game.
Oopsie.
So let's try and boost up our power.
Skill issue.
Okay, so we need a better sword. We need the Honor Blade of Coral. A special
Man, I
item
can't
that
wait
you
for this
can
guy to
pick up
get
in the
big.
Sins of the Father quest.
Giggity.
The only problem is in order to unlock that quest, we need to do 2 other quests first. Now, I could show you the riveting quest line
Why
of
is their
reuniting
hair
the
like
family
that?
and reclaiming their lands, but instead,
They look like
I think we should
they
use
look
a
like the
different
average
medium to tell
26-year-old
the
British
tale,
male.
like music. A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Germaine, Germaine, Gilbert Germaine. Let's find your brother just because we can. Okay, turns out for DMCA reasons, we cannot continue the coverage of these quests via the medium of musicals. So instead, let me explain the second quest, Legacy Lost, with a poem. Roses are red, violets are blue. I have a quest and so must kill you. And after slaying some ogres and escorting...
Roses are red, violets are blue. I'm staring at you, and now you're going to turn into poo. I am very poetic, I know. Gawk in amazement.
The brothers to their family farm, we've completed the second quest, and now we almost have that sword that we need in order to win a fight so that I can get an even slightly better sword. Yeah, video games. Final quest time. Say hello to
This
Sins
is what we call
of the
power
Farmer,
progression.
where we'll just read the Wikipedia quest summary.
How creepy
Wait 2
shit in this
in-game
game.
days. Talk to Favis
Renegade, thank you for following as well.
Crossier Inn. Go to the Red Guard Valley Cave. Defeat the ogres and take the honor blade of coral. You can either return the blade to Leigh
Ogres,
or
Mark.
sell it to Favis
Ogres.
Ulez. Of course, we will not be
That's a
returning the
big one.
blade to anyone, as I want to use it for
Why are
my
they kind of thick,
hijinks.
though?
Perfect. We now have a sword that can do 4 damage. Oh,
Yeah!
Still terrible, but it's actually better. Even though this is technically only 2 more damage, you have to remember that we're multiplying all of our damage by high quantities. So an increase of 2 isn't an increase of 2 damage, it's more like an increase of 100.
Oh, yes.
Right, so with a weapon that does additional damage relative to our existing one, we're already in a better stage. But even so, I realized that we can actually stack multiple spells affecting us at the same time. So I'm going to go back into the Frostcrag Spire, and we're going to make ourselves 2 brand new spells. And this time have this one last for about 30 seconds. Then we're going to make another one that will boost us by 99 and have this one last for about 25 seconds. Fantastic. And just like that, we have 2 brand new spells. So let me
That's a
quickly
lot of
equip these
them.
spells. I'll press 1 to equip the first spell. I'll press 2 to equip the second spell. And as that works,
At what point do we just
yep,
acknowledge
my
that
fatigue
this has
is now
gone too
currently
far?
At 200. That is, of course, a fair bit better than the 0 it's meant to be at.
My
Right,
God,
now,
finally,
this is
a
it. We
weapon
are
to
now
surpass
finally
Metal
ready
Gear.
to slay Umbra. So I'm going to cast my first spell, then I'll cast my second spell. So with 200 fatigue, I should now be doing significantly more damage. And now when we hit
Oh
Umbra,
my God.
yes, come on, yes, wham, come on, no!
Oh,
I
no,
almost had it.
again?
She was on a sliver of health. Okay, we can do it. It just takes us 3 hits. So I need to make sure those 3 hits actually land. So there we go. Equip our spells and let's go.
How
Come on.
embarrassing. Still
There
getting
we
his
go.
ass
Come on.
handed to him.
Yes,
Yeah,
we did it.
they
And
did
with
it.
that, we can steal her sword, Umbra,
Yoink.
as well as all of her
That's mine
actual
now.
fancy
That's mine.
armor.
We own it.
Thank you very much. Now I can actually deck myself out and look relatively
Guys,
swanky.
listen, it's not considered a crime, okay? It's merely considered asset allocation. That's what you need to say to the judge when you're being charged with treason, okay?
Look at that. No longer am I looking like Mr. Plebus. I mean, I can't move around because I'm over encumbered, but hey, if I take off the heavy boots and the heavy body armor and, what else? I guess you're
God,
also
that helmet
heavy.
is not
Greaves
doing
can
anything
go.
for him.
I actually even wear any of this. It's all very heavy, right? I can drop that. Okay, I can wear the helmet and that's it. That's enough for me
Perfect.
not to become over encumbered.
Remember, guys, the message of life: keep your head protected. Slap it and wrap it.
And there we go. We get ourselves a brand new sword in the form of Umbra, which
To be
now
fair, this
gives
is
us
still
5
anime
damage we can
levels
do.
of
Fantastic.
armor.
There we go.
The less it
We are
covers, the
ranking
more
our
it
way
protects
up in the
you.
world. Right, let's leave this dungeon and now go see if we can kill God.
Right after this nap. Me, 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 me.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, I've done some additional preparation and I am now ready to kill God.
Wow,
to be
hi, God.
specific,
You're looking very horny.
Mayrune's Dagon. We are Juan Punch, Juan Man with Juan Dream and Juan Soul.
Juan Sheet.
And Juan Loincloth, ready to defeat literally a god. Now, of course, we have no willpower. We are only level 1. We are tiny.
Well, that means you've got
in
nothing for the
comparison this
god to
insanely
dominate
nightmarish
over.
Enemy. He might be level
You have
100.
literally become the
He might have
hard-counted
1,000
god.
base health, but I am stronger, for I have fortified my fatigue so much that I am unstoppable. I've
Do it,
made
pussy.
a few more
Do it.
spells. The 98 fat, which gives me 98 fatigue points, and the 91 fart, because I had a typo, which gives me an additional 91 points of fatigue.
I love being
Combining all of
dyslexic.
them, I can reach around about 360 fatigue, meaning I'm 368 fatigue points over my supposed maximum limit of 1, giving me massive quantities of extra damage. We now also have Umbra on our side.
Insert Phil Swift's, that's a lot of damage. Meme.
Raising our base attack power up to 5. It might not seem like much, but with this many modifiers, it's going to be good. So with my sword equipped, I'm going to cycle through all of my spells.
This straight up looks like the people who do professional Elden Ring runs. You know those like one-shot builds where you see them spend longer buffing themselves than fighting the boss? Yeah.
And boost up my fatigue. There we go. Let's use them all. And just like that, yes, my fatigue is at 358.
Do it, pussy!
Let's go! Charge down that enemy, and huzzah! We did it. One hit. Oh my goodness, it was genuinely a one punch.
Oh my god, he just like
he turned into like
what?
bushy Play-Doh. Oh yes.
He's literally turned into a tortoise.
Oh, this is brilliant. Well, I don't know what's happened to him, but he has indeed appeared to
This is what happens when you divide by 0. Unironically, divide by 0.
Died, and we did it, ladies and gentlemen. What a glorious victory for Juan. So yeah, we've killed one of the gods of this game.
Something tells me that's not the way you're supposed to beat him.
Kill the next god. Right, so I've done it. I've summoned Umbra, the final boss that this game ever really received, thanks to the DLC. Of course, Juan Punch is ready. Look at him. He is not scared of an evil, enslaving enemy of humanity. No, Juan Punch is ready.
He has shit himself in preparation.
And he will fight, swing, oh wow.
Oh my god.
That was pretty easy, actually. Okay, he's dead.
And now Umbreel's braced and ready.
Gentlemen, we have once again proven that Oblivion is indeed a perfectly balanced game with no exploits. I, for one, am quite excited to get the Oblivion remaster, either in the form of this latest release or maybe even from the Oblivion team. So yes, if you want to see if I can find any new exploits in the upcoming...
Oh, you know he's gonna. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been an amazing video. I love Spiffing Brit. He's got a sense of humor that's right up my alley, probably because he's British. And I guess now I'm gonna sit here in envy of the fact that everyone else is playing Oblivion Remastered and I bloody well can't. So come by my stream and feel sorry for me, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks so much for being here. Bye-bye.